Listen, there's a lot of fucked up shit going on in the world right now. So I'm going to sing this song for Lee, yeah, and you, Josh, and the people watching to just feel a little bit better. When the rainy days are dying, gotta keep on flying. All the bees and birds are flying. Ah, get on up when you're down, baby. Take a good look around. Listen, everybody. It's Lee Judges, man. Let's give him a clap. Go ahead, Josh. Lee Judges, right. So, first things first, I'm going to get this pipe.
Yeah, let's get the party started. Right,
let's get these beers open for you. Just a little light trick. Boom.
Lovely.
One.
Cheers.
One for you, one for me. And I don't know if you've watched any of my other ones yet.
Hey.
I don't know if you've watched any of my other ones yet.
No, go on. Cheers.
One. Oh, no. I've got a secret handshake.
Go on.
So, go on. One. Bottom twice. No. So, top, bottom twice. Then top. So do it one more time.
Right, go on in.
Boom.
Gosh. Cheers.
Cheers, people. So, Lee.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice, right?
That's all right.
We don't get to do this anymore.
No, don't get to do this.
So, first things first. Lee has absolutely shattered the internet in the last few months. And we're going to go through everything that's led up to that point, and I guess the positive and negative aspects of Arsenal Fan TV, I guess, towards what's happening to Arsenal as a club right now. So, Lee, thanks for coming again, brother. I really do appreciate that.
No worries at all.
We've got the man in the flesh, so we're gonna start from scratch.
Yeah.
So, where did you grow up, Lee?
Where did I grow up? Well, I was born in Wimbledon, funny enough.
Wimbledon, okay.
Yeah, but moved back over to a place called Cheshunt when I was about 1 or 2. So, and that is mainly a Tottenham area, Cheshunt. Tottenham did have their training ground in Cheshunt. So you can imagine when you're going there, it was all like Tottenham area. But so like Cheshunt, Hertfordshire is where I sort of grew up. Okay,
so if people aren't too sure, like Hertfordshire is like on the cusp of like, say like Broxbourne, North London,
Broxbourne, right? North London, like, yeah, so it's on the cusp of that, like, you know, so that is it, like, you know what I mean? So that's where I grew up, went to a school, Turnford School, which is still there, but it's a different name now. Yeah, and I found it tough at school because being on I was born on 28th of August, so I was the youngest. The youngest,
right?
So struggled through, like, academically, physically as well, like, you know what I mean?
Okay, so let's go back. So what was your sort of family like? Did you have any brothers, sisters?
I've got one brother.
Okay.
Like, he lives abroad, so he's a year younger than me. So
about 28, yeah?
28, 29. So there was just the two of us. So we grew up, like my mum, obviously my mum and dad, and my nan and granddad, who were close to us, lived in Waltham Cross, which is just like the town further down. Mm-hmm. So like if mum and dad were working, we used to have to go around with nan and granddad's at the weekends or after school or whatever. Yeah, so that was it. That was the life. So on my mum's side were Tottenham fans, and on my dad's side were Arsenal. So my brother's a Spurs fan because he chose that route.
Okay.
And I chose the route. I went down the proper route. Like,
okay, well, before you think I'm a Spurs fan, because everyone who sees these swallows on my hands thinks I'm a Spurs fan. I'm a West Ham fan.
West Ham, nothing wrong with West Ham.
And nothing wrong with Arsenal.
No,
so let's go back now. So you said that you found school hard. Like, what was that experience like?
Yeah, it's just like because I was the youngest, you know. So but funny enough, when you could play football.
And could you play it also then?
Yeah, I was like playing football. You could play, because it was in August, you could play the year lower.
Okay, so you were the oldest.
So I was older, so which helped me in my football when I was playing, when I was, you know, like the county. But at school level, I found it really tough. Physically, I wasn't that big, so I didn't really. I was in the school team and all that, but weren't into the, like, didn't get into the school county and all that. But when with my team, which I could play as a younger year, I got into the county teams and things like that, and then got scouted from there. But but I found, like, probably helped me in one way, but I found it tough in another way, like, you know.
Okay, so what introduced you to football? Like, who gave you this immense passion, which I think is it's amazing to see especially on the internet.
So, well, I think it's through my dad. You know what I mean? Like, sadly passed away last year. But
very sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
very
no
sorry.
worries. But yeah, he was like mad Arsenal. He was. He played a little bit. He played at Brentford and Leyton Orient in the day, so he was a good footballer. Yeah, and I suppose I got the passion from that. He took me to the Arsenal. Funny enough, it was a weird situation because back in those days you could go football like so. And you weren't no all tickets and things like that. You could just turn up on the day. Mm-hmm. So like one.
What was the queuing like? Sorry to cut you.
Yeah, you'd queue up. You know what I mean? It depended who was playing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it was a big game, you'd queue up. You know, that's how it was. You know, you might like remember if you got a ticket for the seats more than, you know, but like the stands, you just had to queue up, like, you know. So sometimes if Dad had a good week at work, he might treat me to the seats, but not all the time. So you know, we'd queue up, and then the following week, my granddad would be going over to Spurs, so you'd go over to Spurs and watch football, really, like, do you know what I mean, getting into it. And then what happened was one week I was just saying about Highbury and the red and white shirts, that was the thing. Mm-hmm. And my granddad turned around and said, "Oh, like, you coming over to Spurs this week?" And I said, "Oh, do you know what, Granny, I'll give it a miss. I'll give it a miss." And that was it. I was an Arsenal fan, and that was it. And like my dad used to take me. My dad was a clock end man.
And just so if people don't know, explain what that means, a clock end.
Well, the clock end, like, there's two main ends at Arsenal. The North Bank, which had a roof, and the clock end obviously had a clock and no roof. Okay. So, you know, you can imagine that back in the day, you know what I mean, pouring with rain and whatever, and you have to go into the clock end, and, you know, like my dad met his mates and all that there and things like that. So I used to want to go on the North Bank desperately, you know what I mean, especially when it was raining and all that. And my dad used to say, "Look, when you're old enough, you can go to the North Bank."
And at what age were you when he was taking you?
I was probably like 10, 11, you know what I mean, around about that time, late 70s and all that, like, you know. And then when we was old enough, we you know, moved into the North Bank with my mates and all that. But my dad took me to my first cup final. My first ever cup final was Arsenal West Ham. Okay, what was that like for you? Not very good, because we lost, you know what I mean. So yeah, we lost 1-0 to Trevor Brook in goal. So that was my first cup final. Yeah, so not a great experience, the first one, like, you know. But
so when you're growing up now, right? So I guess your family sort of are supporting different teams, right? And you said that you found school a little bit tough in terms of like your age and the year you was in and so on. Yeah. Like, so what did like football do for you? Because I want people to actually get an insight into why men and women are so passionate about a sport. Some people who aren't, they maybe would see one of your viral videos and think you're an absolute nutcase. Yeah, yeah. When this is your passion, like, so explain that. It is a passion,
like, you know, when I was at junior school, it's funny to explain. When I was at junior school, didn't find the school problem I was playing for. There was like a district team you played for then, like when you was in like junior school. Okay. I don't know if it's the same now. I don't think it really is. I know that they have districts and county and all that. But so I'd play in a district team, playing like for my school. And that was where I got the pack. Like, it was the only real time you could play in a team. You know, be kicking about with your mates. We used to play over a place like at Waltham Cross when I was go around my nan and granddad's. There used to be a big field there. And like bigger guys, older, you know what I mean, all play on it, and you'd pick teams, and it'd be a free-for-all. It was fantastic days, you know, going back, and we'd play that all Saturday afternoon, and obviously maybe like on a Sunday if we was at my nan's again, but 9 times out of 10 we weren't around my nan's on a Sunday, so all the other guys were still playing it. But we used to go there, play that, and you had to really look after yourself, be a player, otherwise you weren't getting into it, like, you know. Yeah, so, of course. You know, weekly slink, out you go. So that was a good upbringing. So then but then really when I went to school, and that was playing my first sort of like proper teams. Okay. Proper teams. I know it's all different now. Kids are playing at 5, 6, 7. It weren't like that when we was younger. Mm-hmm. It was like when you got to school, that's how you started playing. Okay. But then when I went to turn for school into senior school, there was bigger kids. Yeah. A lot more kids. It was a lot tougher. But you know, I look back on it, and we had a really good school team, fun enough. But like players that went on as well. And I just found it physically physically tougher. But when I then went and played for my other team on a Sunday, and then, you know, when I got scouted and all that, then I found that a little bit easier because I was the oldest. So even though I was struggling at school playing football, I was
but over there you was thriving.
I was finding it a lot easier. So that's the way it was. But obviously being in August, you could do both.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know again if that's changed or not, but that's how it was. You'd cup finals. It's completely different to what it is now. It was a whole day event. You'd sit there with your dad all day, draw the curtains, whether it was a sunny day or not, and just watch the cup final. And then what I think like the younger generation don't realise is there weren't games of football on telly. Do you know, like the FA Cup semi-finals were on a Saturday. If you didn't have a ticket, you didn't get to watch it. You could listen to it on the radio, but it was only the second half on the radio.
So the culture of going was so important.
So important, like, you know. So, and then you'd go to a non-league team. It was like a good like Cheshunt, who I went on to play for years later. They was a good side, you know. I mean, big crowds used to go. So it was a good community thing, and you got into the passion, whether it be like playing for your local team or Arsenal, Spurs, and whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
So, how would you say scouting players, like the youth, like what is that like now compared to when they were scouting you guys? Has that changed?
Yeah, completely. Like, you know what I mean? Because you've got like academies that are a lot younger. You've got like what I would say, how would I say, like coaching
academies.
Yeah, like coaching things which push you towards a club, so there'd be something involved with a club. So, you know, there was more easy ways to I don't say like probably more ways to get scouted. Not saying it's any easier getting into it, but it was like there's more avenues now than what there was back in the day. You know what I mean? The first time realistically, when you think about it, get coached. Like kids now get coached from a young age. I was lucky. I got coached because I was good enough to get coached. You know what I mean? If you wasn't being able to get to a professional club or a very good semi-professional club, you weren't getting coached till you was, you know, like 15, 16, 17. So it was a lot tougher. And what you'd have to do, you know, and how I got scouted was that the scout was come to look at somebody else. I know it sounds silly, like come to look at somebody else. I happened to have a good game that day. And then he just said, look, were you interested in coming to so and so? Like,
that's amazing. So did you? I'm guessing you went to a semi-pro level.
I went to like professional first, like you know what I mean, with a team. You can guess which team it is because it's quite close. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't like to say too much about it. And yeah, so from there and then on, you know, done like the schoolboy stuff and everything like that, and then. You know, it didn't quite work out for me, like, you know what I mean? But it was an experience. But you're getting coached where your mates are not. So all of a sudden, you start, even though you're not going to make it, it made me good stead for later on going into like non-league and things like that.
Yeah, because I feel that the art of scouting players and so on can either lead to a positive aspect for certain clubs or their detriment.
Yeah.
Right? So you as an avid Arsenal supporter for however long you have supported Arsenal, tell me about like your best times supporting Arsenal compared to now, I guess.
Do you know what? It's really a weird thing because I don't think you can beat like going when you're younger, when you've got no worries. Do you know what I mean? In life, you know what I mean? Like, but when you're playing football, and obviously like it is on a Saturday and things like that, so it can get in the way of it and all, like, you know. So, you know, and that's what it did to me. I had a conflict of interest because I wanted to go to the Arsenal, especially when you hear some of your mates are going.
Definitely.
Going Ipswich, or they're going like they go West Ham, go to the local games, and you've got to go and play football on a Saturday or training. It was a conflict of interest. So when so that was a great time. So when I got released from professional football, I had a couple of years where I thought, you know what, I don't want to play. Just play with my mates on a Sunday.
Well, sorry to cut. So how did that feel? Like that point when they've released you? Like, did they give you a specific reason?
Well, you know, I mean, I probably, you know, people would turn around and say I was good enough, but I had a bad attitude. funny enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so,
Okay.
and how it come about is that I was playing the game, got sent off. But like, in those days then, and this is, I know it sounds silly, you didn't get 3-game bans and things like that. It was 5 weeks.
Oh, really?
Right, yeah. So, like, you think 5 weeks, you've got midweek games,
Yeah.
and it's 10 games. You know
That's
what I mean?
a lot-
Like, it's
that's
just
a
a bloody
long
long
time.
time for kicking someone in the nuts. You know what I mean? Like, which is what I did. So when I had to go back to them and say, they said, right, we've got a game so and so. I said, I can't play. I'm suspended. Now 5 weeks is a long time in football. Believe it or not. But when you're playing at a good level and a good standard, you know, if you're not there, there's always someone else to come in and someone else to come in. I didn't know that, thinking I was a cocky little 16-year-old, 15-year-old kid who thought I was brilliant. Obviously, like, then you get to realise, you know what I mean, someone else comes in, takes your spot, that's it, you know what I mean, and they turn around and say to you, you know, thank you, but no thank you. And it's as ruthless as that.
Yeah,
it's ruthless as that.
I mean, sports is just, I would say, just like anything with high value. I mean, things like music. Everyone wants to be in music. Everyone wants to be in a sport because they love it.
Yeah.
But they don't realise how ruthless it is when it's talent based. They really, people, if people are, you know, they're weak at the heart, they ain't going to be able to deal with how ruthless this is.
It tests you. It tests you. Listen, you know, going through my school and all things like that, there was bullying. You had to be, you know, dog eat dog, if you like. You know,
Yeah,
what I
of
mean,
course.
it toughens you up and things like that. You know, I look back at some of the things we'd done as kids, and you think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But that's how it was back in the day, you know. And it was the same with football. Football was ruthless, and you know, I realised that more later on in my time than probably when I was younger. You sort of think, oh, he's better than me and whatever, and not necessarily because someone, and I say this to now, because someone says that you're not a good player, it doesn't mean to say that he's right or he's wrong, but the next one can think you're a good player. The next manager,
absolutely.
and that's what can happen. But when you feel that it happens and all that, like, I'll be honest, when I was playing, I thought I was good as a kid, and I think I was, you know what I mean. But then when you go into that environment where everybody's good, you realise you're not quite as good as what you thought you was.
That's when things get very technical.
Of course it is, and you've got people that are fitter, stronger, and
maybe more hungry as well.
More hungry, want it more than you. You know what I mean? You think, like, you know, you're going to get it given to you, and it's not like that. But, you know, do I regret it? You know, yeah, probably. I had a chance to go to America as well, like, and go on a scholarship, you know, like to America, like, you know. But I turned that down because it's not like going to America now. It's not like it was back in the 80s.
People want to come here.
Yeah, in the early 80s. There weren't Skype, you know what I mean? It was like, I was going to have to go away from my family, and it was a tough decision. But, you know, one of the fellas did take it up, and he still lives in America now. Like, you know?
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, so it was, you know, but all these decisions and all these things are coming at me when I was 15, 16.
Yeah, and you don't know what the hell's going on at that age, you know?
You don't. All you just want to do is play football. And it is a real funny thing, is because I went out to America and played, they used to play with like an orange ball or a ball, black and white spots and all that, like. Do you know what I mean? But back in the day, yeah, they used to have the white Minerva balls, and it was all white, and I thought, I'm not going to kick one of them no more. Like, you know, just silly little decisions like that. I said, no, I'm going to stay here and go for it. Whether it was the right thing or wrong thing, who knows, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
So this is a question that I think I like to ask because it's very subjective, and a lot of people have a lot of different answers. So a lot of my very close friends are West Ham, some are Arsenal, but then most of my family are Arsenal. So what do you think Arsene Wenger's long time at Arsenal has done? Do you think it's pulled it to its detriment? Do you think it was just about the right amount of time? What's your opinion on that?
That is a tough question. That is a real tough question, you know what I mean? Listen, when I look back, George Graham, when I was in that era, I'd probably give me my best moments following Arsenal. But Arsene Wenger give us, you know, a brand of football that I never thought I'd ever see.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And I think everyone can say that.
Yeah, players that he brought to the team, unbelievable made play like like Freddie Ljungberg, for instance, Nicholas Anelka, just out of two that I'm just thinking of just now. He made into world superstars. He'd bring in these young kids, and then they'd come out the door world class
players.
Fabregas. You can
advertisements across around the world. Yeah, it was heavy.
It was unbelievable. But that was the Highbury years. When it went to the Emirates years, the club changed and everything changed with it. Not for the best, in my opinion.
Okay.
For the best, in my opinion. I think we went to the Emirates for all the wrong reasons.
Okay.
It was like not to be the best team in the world, not to be like, it was all about money.
Okay.
And I think that Arsene Wenger went down that route, and his legacy suffered from it. It suffered from
especially towards the end.
Yeah, it did. He won a few cups at the end of his time, and fantastically so. And people sort of disrespect that a little bit. That was tough. But when I look back at it now, to get some of those teams into the top four, we was taking a mickey out of for that. Like quite a lot of times. You know what I mean? Like top four is a trophy. There's a lot of teams now. It's a good thing now. Like top four, blah blah blah. But Arsene Wenger took a lot of stick for that. Did I think he stayed on too long? Yeah, probably did. He probably did, if I'll be honest. But what he done from '98 to say 2006 Champions League final, should have probably won that. And the calibre of player that I got to see, not week in week out because I was still playing some of those times, but you go to the games. Highbury, Vieira, Perez, Bergkamp. I know that he didn't sign him, but he got the best out of him. Thierry Henry. Oh, you know what I mean? Like some wonderful football.
Some beautiful football.
Yeah, some. Like it was a pleasure. And you'd moan when they weren't doing well. You'd moan. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the beauty of it, right?
The beauty of it. Like they ain't going to win nothing. When we drew one, I remember coming out of the game against Portsmouth. I went to that game. And I don't know if you remember it, Perez done the cheeky little dive sort of thing, and we ain't going to win nothing with this team and all that. Like, oh no, we only went invincible. Like, do you know what I mean? So what do I know? But it was great times and a great manager. And I just feel, I've maybe got involved with the financial side of it is now. And went down that route, which is a shame.
So Arteta, his takeover. What's your take on it now? I guess
tough. I think it's tough for him. I do think it's tough for him. I'm going to say this now. I think he done fantastically well to get us to the FA Cup final and win it last season. Some brilliant performances. But the run before Christmas up until the Chelsea game, he's very, very lucky that he survived. I don't think any other manager.
Rough.
Yeah, any other manager, like, I remember Bilic had a real bad, like after what he'd done for West Ham, had a real couple of bad, I don't think it was as bad a run as Arteta, gone.
I don't think I've seen that Arsenal.
No.
Personally.
I haven't seen it, you know what I mean? Like, now, they must really, really believe in him, or they can't afford to get rid of him, one of the two.
Or
I don't know.
who do they have to, who wants to do that job?
Who would want to do what they're doing without the funds and the pressure that comes with it?
There you go, man. And this is where we step into Arsenal Fan TV now, because there's so many different opinions on what this channel is doing. So, for example, people could say that Arsenal Fan TV is monetizing off of the negativity of the club and it's affecting the players, etc. I mean, Red Dap said it. He said, if these players care more about what's going on Arsenal Fan TV, then basically they need to man up and start getting some success stories going, because you can't be concentrating on a media channel for the Prem.
No, but it's a tough ask, because back in the day at Arsenal, we used to have like the Gooner, you know what I mean, and people used to write into the Gooner. And fanzines, which were about. So
was that before Arsenal Fan TV?
Before Arsenal Fan TV,
okay.
Before everything you get, if you go to Arsenal, get your Gooner, and they'd have, you could write into that and say like, Ian Wright, bloody useless today, Kevin Campbell, useless today, and all that like. And speaking to those players now, They used to read that.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like when I played, we had like fans forums, and you'd go on them and think like, especially if you had a good game, you think, oh,
yeah, you'd be like, yeah, I mean? 100 comments of me being the bollocks.
I'm having it, like, do you know what I mean? But then if you'd had a bad game, you think, oh, swerve it, like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you know, Judges is fucking useless and whatever, like, and that's how it is. You know what I mean? When Arsenal Fan TV come into it, it just exploded at something that I've never experienced watching football and whatever, like, you know. Now, I remember I was, you know, the first time I ever come across it was when Chris Hudson done his interview at Aston Villa.
Okay.
It was and it went mad.
So would Robbie always be outside then? While
yeah.
Okay.
No, I'd say like you know, you'd go to a game and you'd see Robbie standing there with 10, 12 people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you'd just walk past it. You weren't really taking much notice of it. Mm-hmm. And then this interview came out, and do you know what? It was thinking, yeah, it's right and everything like that. And yeah, from that moment on, it started to take off. You know, you got Claude come on it then, and guys like that, Mo, who's still on it now, like, you know, and you start thinking, well, you watch it. How I felt of it, I'd watch games, come home, and I thought, or coming away, say like travelling away. You know, you might be up Manchester and all that, like, and you've lost and you're in pain, as you are as a supporter.
Of course, yeah.
And these guys are coming on, and you think, oh, do you know what? I feel their pain. I could relate to it.
Yeah.
I could relate to what was going on, like, you know what I mean? Never ever thought at any stage that I would go on it myself.
So yeah, so what was that experience like for you? Have you ever been exposed to the social media world like you are now? Have you ever really understood it, or
didn't have a clue? Didn't have a clue, and I'll tell you how it all come about. Mm-hmm. Playing Man United, I don't know if you can recall it. We're playing Man United. They've got everybody out.
And how many years ago was this?
This is 6 years ago. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, it was the day Rashford scored. Come on and I think started and scored a couple of goals. No one had heard of him, and Arsenal were in a good position. I remember going to a question. We was in a hotel football, and they was doing a Q&A with Viv Anderson, and there was all Man United fans, and we had to pretend we were Man United fans because the fella that knew, he said, just pretend you're Man United fans. Blah, blah, blah. So we're having a few free beers and all that. Like,
yeah.
And they'd gone round the whole of this room. What do you reckon the score's going to be today? What the score's be? I can't see us winning 2-2. And no one in that whole room give Man United fans at Old Trafford, give them a clue. So they come to us and like, what do you reckon? I reckon Arsenal going to win 2-0. You know, 2-0. You know what I mean? Giving it all large. You know what I mean? So that was how it was.
Yeah.
Then we end up losing 3-2. And if you've ever been to Manchester, to get out of Manchester by car is a nightmare. It takes you about an hour and a half, and at the end of the game, they've all walked off, because you know, like where the away end is at Old Trafford, the tunnel's down the other end. No one coming and thanking the fans and all that. Like, and I'm thinking, look at them. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't think nothing of it. You know, Spurs had won a last-minute winner on the way. You know, and you're sitting in the, and it was a build-up from that. So we've then got Swansea on the Wednesday night at home, and we end up losing 2-1 to Swansea. And as I've walked round there, a couple of my mates have gone like, said, oh, we're going to go and have a pub, going to have a beer and like get on the ump and all that. So I said, yeah, I was just going to walk round. So I've walked round, and lo and behold, that's where Arsenal Fan TV is.
Oh, right. So is this in Manchester?
No, this is now on the Wednesday after the Southampton game at the Emirates.
Yeah, go.
I'm still boiling from what's happened at Manchester. You know
of course, yeah.
And then we
especially when you've gone all the way up.
Yeah, we're 1-0 up against Swansea. We ended up losing 2-1. So now I'm at boiling point. So I've come round, like just like the camera's just standing there, 50 people around it. You know what I mean? Nothing like it is now, but enough people. So I said something like, you know what I mean? Someone said to me, why don't you? And this is true. why don't you say that? So I said, yeah, I bloody well will. Like, do you know what I mean? Get me on there and I'll say something. Well, all of a sudden, the crowd's opened up and it's just like a light like that. And just like Robbie with his, like, he'll say what you got to say.
So that's the first time you've met him?
First time I've met him, first time I ever spoke to him or whatever. Don't even know his name. Yeah. Don't even really know.
So did you not even know it existed at that point, the channel?
Obviously, like, watching it and whatever, but like, you never thought nothing of it.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? So, and I don't really know the concept of what goes on because I'm not on social media, I'm not on none of it like this. So,
yeah.
So I don't really know too much about it, but I thought, I'll just say my bit and that'd be it, and that'd be the end of it. So I've gone on there, said what I've got to say and shouting and screaming, and like, you know, it's had like 5 million views, you know what I mean?
Yeah, lots of views.
I went absolutely mad. But I didn't know that at the time, and I've said my bit, and a few of the crowd are going, yeah, you know, and I sound like, I like this, I like that. Give me a little bit more energy to say something else. Said what I've said, that's it.
Yeah.
So I've now got on the train on the way home, and like me and my mate Martin, who was my manager, was my son's manager at the time in the youth teams and all that, like, and I said, should I have said that? He said, well, I thought you'd done all right, but like, you know, I said, what's going to happen with it? So I said, I don't know, you know what I mean? So I phoned my mate Tony, who I go with all the time. He's on social media a little bit more. So I turned around and said, Tony, I think I've done a silly thing. He said, what have you done? So I said, I've gone on that Arsenal thing. We used to be like,
and I've done my bollocks.
I've gone fucking mad on there. And I think, you know, can you get rid of it for me or whatever? He said, you can't get rid of it. It's there. It's out in the world now. So I said, well, can you find out what's going on? So he said, yeah, look, hold on a minute. So he's gone, oh my God, Lee, it's going mad.
Yeah.
It's going mad.
Did it go mad straight away?
Straight away. Like, I don't know this. I haven't got Twitter, I ain't on none of this.
Yeah.
I don't know. So like, I'm only now what Tony's saying to me. It's going mad. It's going all this, like, you know. So I've gone, oh no. So can't get rid of it. He's going, no, it's out there for life. You know what I mean?
Once it's out, even if they took it down, other people have got
it. Yeah,
it's
like, there. So I don't know that. Tony's going, it's for life. So I've got home, 12 o'clock at night, gone to sleep. I'm asleep like that. I can hear my phone buzzing, 3 o'clock in the morning. So I've looked at it. It's Tony. He's gone, oh my God, Lee, it's going mad. Like, I can't believe what's going on here. Like, you know what I mean? It's going viral. So viral, what's viral mean? He's gone, it's going like, I said, oh no, Tony, got to stop it and all that. Like, no, got to go. So in the morning, wakes up, don't really think too much of it. Like, I'm looking at my phone and it's going mad.
Yeah.
So Tony's phoned me up again now. He's gone, oh my God, on Twitter now, there's a big row between Piers Morgan and Gary Lineker about your video.
Oh,
so it's all going off about that. So I said, oh, I can't believe it. So then, when I was playing like local football and everything like that, the reporter has phoned me up.
Okay.
From the local press, like the Mercury, which is a local paper in our area. Oh, Lee, won't give us an exclusive interview about what's gone on and all that, like, about this video. So I said, I'll leave it out. Like, he actually now works for Tottenham. Doing all Tottenham's media stuff,
okay.
Alistair, right? But he used to follow all the local teams around our area.
Okay.
So, so I've had to like, yeah, go on in. So like, we're having this interview. So I've done the interview about the video.
Yeah.
Of course, it's all on the back pages of the local paper. Come the Friday. This is the Wednesday, so Thursday. By the Friday, it's all in the local paper and everything like that. Now, we're playing Spurs the next day away from home.
Okay.
And as I've gone down the pub and all that, people are going, oh, great video. Like,
and it is a mixture of fans?
Yeah,
or
like,
just Arsenal fans?
Arsenal fans in the pubs and all that, like, you know what I mean? Like, and they're going, great interview and all that. There was a little bit of mixed feeling about AFTV, Arsenal Fan TV, at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how it's going to react and all that. Brilliant. Oh, you're well said. And people are patting me on the back and, oh, can we have a photo? And I'm thinking, great, this is, I'm now enjoying this. I'm glad I've done this now. Like, you know what I mean?
Of course.
So I goes to the Spurs game, and then again now it's 12 o'clock. I've looked at my phone, it's going mad again, like, you know what I mean? I said, what the hell's going on? So I phoned my mate, he said, oh my God, it's all on BT Sport, Ian Wright and Piers Morgan are saying how good you are.
So what was that feeling like for you? Because that must be very surreal for you.
It's very surreal now. This is where it becomes great. and the great thing has come about of it, because what happened is that I'm going, get out, I'm phoning my mum up, Mum, get that on video so that I can see what's going on. Like, Ian Wright is one of my idols.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And he's going, oh, this, what he said, this supporter is absolutely fantastic. And I've got Ian Wright saying that about Ian Wright now knows me. That's the fantastic thing about it. And then, you know, Piers Morgan's going, oh, it's great. And then Harry Redknapp and Rio Ferdinand are all talking about it. So it's going wild. And, that, you know, obviously, like, yeah, so and I'm thinking, oh, it's all great and everything like that. So I've come out to the after the game. We drew 2-2, and Robbie's out there. He's gone, Lee, have another. I said, no, I don't know more of that.
So you've only had done one by this point.
Done one interview by then. He's gone, oh,
and you had no connections with Robbie at this point
no
to do another one or nothing.
No.
He just had to catch you.
Yeah, he just had to catch me. He said, oh, please, go on, just do one more, like, do you know what I mean? So I said, yeah. You know, and I've done that one then, and then so now Tony's gone to me. Come, we've got to set up Twitter and everything like that.
Yeah, of course.
So, and
that's
at that
point, was you like sort of not stressing, but the fuss over you? Was you a bit like, am I being sort of used here? Like, is this actually going to be good for me?
Well, listen, you don't know. You know
Very
what I
true,
mean?
you don't know.
You've gone on a video where you're effing and blinding. Now, I do a load of, like, with the dry cleaning contracts with Tesco's and all that. I'm thinking to myself, oh, what if they see it and they don't like it? And so there was a little bit of a panicky time. And, you know, going to work on the when it's all going mad, I then had people coming up to me going, oh, I love your interview and all that. So it went well.
Okay.
It was, but you don't look at what you're going to get from it or anything like that.
Yeah, because you already have a business.
Yeah,
so
you're not looking down that road to see what's going to come ahead or whatever. You just don't know. You just done this video. Everybody's gone mad about it. You just think, like, it's going to be 5 minutes. And that's it, you know what I mean? Like, and that, you know, you got someone coming up to you asking for a photo. Yeah, you're going to do it and enjoy the moment, but it's going to end. You know,
but I think that's the beauty of, I guess, the type of what we do. I'm a plumber. Yeah. So I think if I was to be in a corporate job, for example, and they just had to type my name in on YouTube, and I've got 20 videos of different views that they don't like, I could easily be terminated. My contract can be terminated very easily if I'm expressing views that they don't like. But I guess are you self-employed or?
Yeah.
So same. Yeah. So I think it's lucky, or maybe not lucky. Obviously, how hard you've had to work to get that. But it's a blessing that you're such a passionate fan about this. And I always say this: any passion you have, if you just stick to that, it resonates. Like, people can see it. And I think what you represent right now, because even what you look like, right? What you even look like, just sort of, to people who don't know you, you just represent the working male who is passionate about his team. Yeah. And that is why it's exploded. So I think it's a good thing. Obviously, people are going to have their versions of what they think of you.
Of course, you're not going to. For every 100 people that likes you, you're going to get 10 that don't, or whatever. You have to get a thick skin for that and get that. Now you're being chucked into something, a world, if you want to be on about it, that you're not really understanding about, and what people will perceive you as.
Of course, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, well, what was a great thing for me is that what I said on that first video is, and like, I had West Ham fans, Tottenham fans coming in to the shop or whatever. I can relate to what you said. Even though you're an Arsenal fan, I can relate to what you... So they could relate to what I was saying, whether it be whatever fan. Do you know what I mean? So that was a good thing for me. Like, now, a lot of people can misperceive things and all that. Like, of course. You know, they think, like, because you've got no hair and that you're a thug or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, a hooligan or whatever. Like, I was back on the out, which I was never. I was just a passionate football fan. The hooligan side of football, never liked, never wanted to be involved with. It was always for me about the game. Of course. But people can perceive that in a different way,
yeah, of course.
And challenge you to it or whatever. So you have to get all these things which you're chucked into, and you've got to be very, very careful what you do. Now, I haven't got no one telling me and advising me what to do or whatever and things like that. You're just thrown into this thing. No, at this stage, thrown into it, no money being thrown back at you, or not that you want to be. You just say something for a passion,
of course,
and whatever, like, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how it was. But then, from that moment, I'm not saying it was just me. There was other people. Arsenal Fan TV just exploded.
Yes,
it just exploded.
Massive.
It exploded. Well, now to the calls where it is unbelievable that you know that players are watching it, and players that I used to look up to when I used to go under the George Graham era, that watch it as well. Like, you know, so, you know, the greatest thing for me is, you know, and Kevin, you know, will admit it as well, won't you, Kev? You know what I mean? So I get a follow from Kevin Campbell. You know what I mean? Like on Twitter, like, you know what I mean? Oh, fantastic! Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? This is unbelievable. Player that I used to watch, and that Ian Wright's following me on social media and things like that.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, this is, you know, surreal.
I mean, it's even surreal that you're here with me now.
Yeah, that's surreal.
So I just think it's to be applauded, like bringing back that. You know what? Like, I think there's a aspect of the world right now which is sort of pushing a narrative that men can't be manly anymore. And please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm not talking about in a sexual way or nothing like that. I'm just mean, I feel that men like to do as simple as this: sit down, have a beer, have a chat
exactly.
about
Talk
their
football.
passions, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
about football. So I think why you've resonated so well is that I think people are missing that.
Yeah.
That you're so ferocious in your passion, and you're clearly very technical about the sport. So let me ask you this question, and this is the video where I found you, I guess, is Ty.
Yeah.
So what is it like having Ty?
Hard work.
What is it like having his takes on the game?
Listen, it's hard work. It is hard work. Now, I've got to tell a story about Ty, because he is the most nicest guy you ever wish to meet. But, you know, and I'd love to be like him in his eyes about football, because, you know, it just doesn't see nothing wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, it's all that way. And Arsenal Fan TV, or AFTV now, is getting massive. And people are getting, I think it's like, whether there was a lot of hate for it, a lot of jealousy, things and all that, like, you know. And I go with a bunch of guys. We get a mini bus up and go to games, Tiny's tours. We go at the games, have a few beers, watch the game and all that, like, you know. A couple of them on there are, I wouldn't say hardcore, but they've got their views, and they're anti, you know, funny enough, anti AFTV, Arsenal Fan TV, can't stand it. You shouldn't be on it, you know. Give me a lot of stick, but I respect that I'm on it and whatever, and that's how it's drawn. And we're going down there, and a couple of them are going, if I ever see that Ty, I'll give him a fucking good hiding, like.
Well,
you know,
there's a video of a fan, a West Ham fan, which we don't condone on the channel, but he hit Ty, and that's on YouTube.
Oh right, I never knew that.
Have you never seen that? He's outside the stadium, and he's giving his views like how you would. And someone just smacks him.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So this is like they're all saying, you know. And it was there was a time when it was now getting a little bit toxic with the Arsene Wenger thing and everything like that, you know. So people were, you know, not good about it. So a couple of them said, "Oh, like, I fucking ever see that Ty, I'm gonna sort him out." Like, you know, I mean, if you ever see Ty, you know what I mean, you wouldn't be able to do that anyway.
He's harmless.
He's harmless. As we pulled up at the minibus, who's walking past? Ty. So I said, meet him. If you want to smack him up afterwards, then smack him up. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but meet him first.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, before, because you've got this illusion of what people are through a camera.
Of course.
So anyway, jumps out of me. Oh, hello Lee, how are you? All right, like, nicest guy. He had, you know what I mean, like, he had a meeting out of the palm of his hand. He's a nice bloke and all that. Like, so much so that one of the guys that wanted to give him a little dig we go Chelsea a year later and all that. A couple of Chelsea fans start on Ty, because Ty, you know, being Ty does, you know, go on a bit.
It's a rough world for Ty.
You know, my mate turned around who said, I can leave him alone. Don't touch him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so once you get to know him as a person, he's completely different to what you see on the camera version. Listen, he winds me up on the thing because he just doesn't see it as he just sees it his way. And at the end of the day, that's fine. You know what I mean?
But do you think he represents a fan that is just willing to just back his team all the way, even if they're playing like absolute shit?
Yeah, 100%. He'll blame the weather, he'll blame the ref, he'll blame whatever, but not one of those players.
Because people could see it two ways. People could see it as, no, he's just backing the team all the way. But I guess it's, what do you go to Arsenal Fan TV for? Do you want an unbiased opinion like what you would do?
Exactly.
Or do you want him to just say, no, we're amazing, we're going to do great? Because the one where you was angry with him was Arsenal Wolves, and you had Arsenal Tottenham the next week, right?
Yeah.
So...
And he's saying, from my point of view, like, I've just watched Arsenal being turned over by Wolves, not doing anything.
That was a bad period.
It was a bad performance. We were playing really, really bad at the time, like, you know what I mean? And like, well, we ain't got no chance of beating Spurs. And he just turned around and said, oh yeah, we have. And I said, well, what, you know, after seeing that, what? You know what I mean? And he, you know, but he doesn't see it. He just sees it that one way, and that's it. And that is the beauty about AFTV, to a certain degree. And this is what annoys me when people say, oh, they don't represent us or whatever. We don't represent no one. You represent yourself. Yourself. Now, if I say something and people agree and latch onto that, that's fine. But I ain't representing anybody.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just representing myself as a fan and what I feel. And the thing is, for years and years, going through football, you'd pay your money, rent your anger in the pub or whatever, and that was it. All of a sudden now you can say things, and it's getting back to the players.
That's the crazy thing.
That's the crazy thing.
That's the crazy
thing. It's getting back to ex-players. Ex-players know you, and now, you know what I mean, like, become friends with. You know what I mean? Which is, you know, like, that's the best gift of all.
And it's funny you just said that. From me doing this podcast, I've had guests where I'm speaking about certain other people that, not necessarily that I admire, but people that I listen to, or whatever it is, and they will get in touch with me or something, or I know that they're listening to everything I'm saying. Yeah. So there's going to be people that didn't know I exist, will be listening to what I'm saying and you're saying now.
100%.
So it's quite crazy.
That is a gift.
Yeah.
It is a gift. Now I've followed Arsenal up and down the country, like, you know, and all of a sudden, like, for instance, you know what I mean, the great story with Kevin is that Kevin messaged, I'm going to a game, and Kevin's messaged me and said, oh, I'm working on the Arsenal game today, but do you fancy meeting up for a beer afterwards? So, you know, well, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Don't matter if you've got, like, you know, I am meeting you, whatever happens. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, I remember going to that game, Watford it was, with what we won 4-0. It was when Troy Deeney missed a penalty, so it's a few years ago now. And I'm nervous about meeting it. I thought, oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to do?
Of course.
Like, you know what I mean? Because he's a player that you've watched and followed.
Sort of start to overthink what they're like, because you've seen little snippets of them.
You only see them in a red and white kit of Arsenal or Everton or whatever. So met Kevin, like, and I said, oh, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to a quiet place, or do you want to go to the 12 pins is where we all drink, like, all the like, he said, oh, come up there, like, you know what I mean? Imagine it, I'm walking up with Kevin.
Like,
you know,
get me mate a pint.
This is my mate Kevin, like, do you know what I mean? And we've had a blast, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, all the fans all happy and seeing someone coming, like, who's played for the club. And we've become really close friends since that, you know what I mean? Like, where I've gone up to Manchester, I've gone, you know, like, gone to Everton games with him when they go absolutely mad over him. And that is the gift.
Absolutely.
Because if I hadn't done none of this, you know, I'd do a show with him now, like, so we do a show on AFTV together, you know what I mean? And it's unbelievable. Like, Ian Wright is someone, you know, I've idolised as a player going, you know what I mean? Like, the way he was and everything like that. And the first time I met him, I thought, you know, I'm going to meet it. Like, he come in the room and I think, oh, Ian Wright. And I get this tap on the shoulder.
And you're like, you're right, mate. Yeah.
So he turns around and I swear to you now, he goes, Lee, I've wanted to be meeting you for ages. And I've wanted to meet you for 20 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's
mad.
mad.
A soppy moment. But that's
crazy.
That's the gift of whatever it is.
Well, cheers to that as well.
You know what I mean? So that's the good. Like, well, two of them, isn't it?
Wait, 1, 2. That's
the gift that money can't buy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I've been fortunate enough to get things out of it and everything like that. But I never ever went into that for that. Now, listen, people do go in for that, but that's up to them.
Yeah.
You know, I never ever, from the word go, I've never gone into it thinking, oh, I want this and I want that or whatever. Whatever comes along, comes along. And I think that, you know, I've been fortunate now that through these terrible times at the moment, if it weren't for what I do, I don't know what, I wouldn't have survived. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, so financially it's been a good thing. But I never ever done it for that, and you know, I don't ever want to say to people my opinion. I'll tell you a great little story. Is you used to go on the internet and things like that, and there was like Facebook. I was on Facebook. That's the only social thing I was on, and Mesut Ozil probably had a bad game. I'll mention him because, like, you know, it's just one of those things. He's always in the media. He had a bad game. And I put on there, Mesut Ozil, what is he doing today? Like, you know what I mean? Rubbish. Replies, none. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
None. No one responded to it. The first time after the AFTV stuff, I put on there, oh, Mesut Ozil rubbish today.
Thousands.
Yeah. So you now, which is a gift, you can interact with, and that's how I used to look at it.
Yeah, do you know what?
With fans.
It's really
which
crazy.
I didn't have at first.
Yeah.
I couldn't have, you know what I mean? And so people don't have that.
It must have changed the art of the game for you now that you're heard now.
Listen.
So in some ways you've got a sense of power and influence on your opinions to what is happening in real time.
100%, and that can become a problem.
Okay.
Can become a problem because when you go to a game, and it's like with the watch-alongs, we were talking about them in a moment. Like, you know.
Did you want another beer, by the way, mate?
I'll have another one.
Yeah, of course, mate. I'll come on for it.
As you're buying, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So when you go to games,
pass that bottle. Cheers, brother.
You go to a game. And you're into the game. Now, I can say things and be a different person, you know what I mean? And people go, oh, yeah, you know, you come over as a nice guy, and here you are effing and blinding and all that. Like, and you do, because you're wrapped up in the game. So people think...
But that's human nature.
Yeah, but people think to you, so all of a sudden, like, you've got to be careful, because, which has happened before, you're going mad or whatever, and people are recording you.
Yeah.
So now, whether you like it or whether you're not, you have to change your perspective about things, because you've got to think like, well, I don't.
You have to take a step back.
Yeah, which is difficult because you can't be that. I'm not saying aggressive. It's the wrong word to say. Like, do you know what I mean? I remember going to Liverpool, going, I feel bad about it. Something was said, and the geezer turned around and said like, said something. I said like, you know, and now I'm you know what I mean? Like, and I'm getting aggressive with him, like, do you know what I mean? My mate's going, calm down there, you know what I mean? Like,
well, you're a man, like...
We're 3-0 down after 10 minutes, I ain't calming down, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And he's going, this fella's going, it's all right, ain't it all right, you know what I mean? I love you, you know what I mean? Like, and of course, someone's videoing it, or do you know what I mean? So like, my mate was good enough to turn around to him and say, look...
Calm it down.
Leave it out, don't video.
Don't row him up as well.
Yeah, so like the fella stopped recording and wiped it up, took it off my mate, sort of.
But people do that because they want what you've got, so they want to get you angry,
exactly.
so that they can.
Exactly.
It's all a very strange, vicious world out there now.
So I don't, you know, I was in the wrong because I've gone mad because we're 3-0 down, and I felt bad. And you know, you imagine 20 minutes like that, we're 5-0 down or 5-1 down, and I just said, look, mate, sorry about that. You know what I mean? Yeah, no problems, and it was done.
Yeah.
But you have to be careful what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because people video that and can be, you know, go into those sort of things. So it does change you. Mm-hmm. It does change your perspective of things.
Yeah, definitely.
And so that is. And then of course, then you go on. Football stops and you go on these watch-alongs. Yeah. And it, you know what I mean? Don't get me on them.
So a few more things. So before we wrap up, Lee. So obviously there was the reaction of where DT got angry through his phone.
Yeah.
And then he went to social media, and it was quite a worrying status at one point. Do you know what happened with that whole scenario?
I think when you have to understand is, and this is the true thing about watch-alongs, right? You don't know. You go there, and I don't care what anybody says. You know, they go, "Oh, you're playing towards the cameras." Others may well do. I'm just talking from my from my perspective. Like, I forget the camera's there. Right now I go to watch-alongs. I've got a little note in my phone. Remember.
You're on camera.
You're on camera. You don't want none of these memes coming out of you again, like, do you know what I mean? Remember. 5 minutes later, yeah, effing and blind, there's a memes out there because you've forgot what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, now the thing with the phone, Robbie's just asked a simple question about, I think it was about Arteta and all that, and DT just lost it for that moment because he's wound up through the game. We've lost another game. He knows he's going to get a load of rubbish about because he's backing Arteta and all that, like, and he just lost it for that couple of minutes.
Yeah, which is minutes in the grand scheme of 20. We've all got 24 hours each day. 2 minutes, people can drag that out forever. Someone could look back at that in 5 years and go, "Was the DT all right? That was a 2 minute
time
thing,
of his
life."
You know, like where you got like the studios, you got the studio upstairs. As you walk down, you got the offices. So. And then, like, you go down the stairs, and you can walk out into like the foyer, like there's it's all fenced off sort of thing, like area. You know what I mean? So he's gone out there, cool down, you come back in. That's how it is. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and you move on from there. You know, and you know, whether you like DT or not, he's passionate about Arsenal. You know, and you can't. It doesn't matter. I don't look at people and go, "Well, that's how I want to." I am who I am, and I support. I could not be like Ty. I probably couldn't be like DT the way he is. Mm-hmm. But that's up to them. They support anybody that supports West Ham or Arsenal. You support the club how you want to.
How you want to support it, exactly.
Because it's your life.
It's your world.
It's your world. It's your life. If you want to be whatever, that's up to you. You know what I mean? And that's what when people have a go at you on social media, and I think, well. Why? You know what I mean? Why do that? You know, I wouldn't have a go at you, whatever. But you have to understand that you're in the limelight a bit, whether you like it or whether you don't.
Yeah, yeah.
And let me tell you this now. Don't think anybody's not got an ego. You've got an ego doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, so do I.
I've got myself into some horrendous positions because of my ego.
Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, putting it in the camera and putting yourself out there.
There you go.
So, you know, have a bit of perspective in life. You know what I mean? These things are there. You know what I mean? I've got an ego. Of course I have got an ego. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So, you know, yeah, listen, there's been a few little dust-ups in the studios over the last few months because when Arsenal are losing, what's the tensions high.
Oh, of course.
And that's what makes AFTV.
And then the opinions of all of you in the same place then start to collide.
Of course it does. And when you're, and that's what makes AFTV, I think,
authentic.
Yeah, because you come out of the ground and you see in a different perspective to what you'll see a day later.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, what you see then, what you see, and that is the rawness of it.
But that's why I think the whole podcast game is monopolising so quickly. Because, to be honest, unless, again, like what you said, unless they're putting it on from the cameras, which I very highly doubt, because it's not for fun and games, Arsenal Fan TV, it is avid Arsenal fans. So, you're actually getting to watch people's real reactions.
Yeah.
And I think it's a scary thing because, mate, I've reacted and changed my mind 10 minutes later.
Of course, so that's what's great. The thing is, and I think AFTV or Arsenal Fan TV was set up for Arsenal fans.
Of course, yeah.
Right, but it's got so big, it ain't necessarily about, and that's where the perspective it is and why people don't like it, because people now see when Arsenal lose, Tottenham fans jumping onto it, West Ham fans, let's go and see what they're saying.
And now they're just laughing at the club.
So let's have a laugh and all that, like, do you know what I mean? Now, I'm going to be really honest, I don't go to jump on the West Ham guys that do it.
Because they've got a West Ham TV now,
they're nice guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Met them all good guys.
Mm-hmm.
When they've won, when they win, lose, draw, I don't watch it. I don't watch Man United, like, but that's the way when they lose or whatever. Sometimes they come onto your feed, on Twitter and all that, you have a laugh over it.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's banter. It's always been there. It's just now out in the whole world.
Okay.
So Spurs fans are going to dig you and whatever, like.
Of
you know
course,
what I mean?
yeah.
I've took over this last few games. I've took some stick from Spurs fans. Don't worry about that, like 100%. But that has been there since I was at school, since I've gone through work, everything. You know what I mean? You dread going in on a Monday morning because they're going to be there waiting for you. Especially them Spurs fans, they're fucking horrible. But that's how it is.
You heard that, Lee? That's for you, son.
That's how it is, and it always will be like that. But this new world's come out now. What happens with AFTV and what gives it I don't think a bad name, but is that Arsenal lose, I'll get 150,000 views if Arsenal win. If Arsenal lose, it's 300.
Oh yeah.
Right,
because it feeds off of the negativity, really.
So, and that's all Arsenal Fan TV's fault. Is it? If Arsenal win those games, then it doesn't matter, does it?
No one wants to see Lee. No one wants to see Lee Judges happy.
No, exactly. They don't. Some do.
They want to see
Arsenal
you lose your
fans
nut.
do, but the Tottenham fans don't want to see me gloating and all that, like. So they're not going to watch it. So ultimately, it's the embarrassment or the negativity is down to the team. If the team wins, there's no negativity. There's
okay,
no
I see what you're saying.
And that's how it is, you know what I mean? So, and, you know, that's how like, I guarantee you, right, I'm not saying every Arsenal player and all that, like, but the Arsenal players would have had a little look at that last night because they've won.
Yeah, of course.
It's positive.
They're probably going to be more, when they haven't won, it will find its way to them.
Listen.
Because it will just get spread, because now your videos get spread on music blog channels, gossip channels, on football channels. So it's really spread to an audience who don't even give a fuck about football.
It goes exactly. It goes all over, like. It goes to things where, like, Troops is now friends with Aubameyang.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You know, there's sort of things that never would have happened.
Exactly,
you know
but that's the power of the social media as well.
Social media. I remember Jurgen Klopp coming out and I think it's Cop TV, or I think they're calling Liverpool people watching. I watch you guys. How are you? All right, like, you know what I mean? You know, that's unbelievable for them that Jurgen Klopp watches what they're doing. The manager of their football team watching what the fans have got to say.
Absolutely,
and that is the key of it all. Fans now, whether you like AFTV, doing what you do, have got a voice. If you're not happy, they will get to know about it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, and that is, you know, you're not being taken the mickey out of as much as you think you are.
Yeah.
Because people can say, hold on a minute, that ain't right.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. It's so subjective sometimes.
Yeah.
But also, so it brings me back to the way technology is evolved in football. What do you think VAR is doing to football?
Ruining it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely ruining it.
So why would you say that?
Because football, I don't actually. Listen, football can be. I use one example, you know, where it's good, but then I say it's down to poor refereeing. Smith Rowe got sent off against Newcastle the other week. It's never a sending off. You know, you see, but because the player screams and shouts, the referee. Oh,
there's been a lot of.
And there's a lot of that.
There's been a lot. What are you talking about in the penalty?
No, it's just when he screamed and he got sent off, and then the VAR come in and said no, it's not sending off, and they just booked him. And
Okay.
You know,
I can't remember what match I saw recently, and someone was sent off in the box. But without VAR, there's no way in hell that would have gone ahead. So I just want to see your opinion on
VAR,
what you think about it. Yeah.
If the refs were good enough, wouldn't need it. They're rubbish. In my eyes, they've not played the game. They don't know what the game's about. But when you go to games, there's a VAR decision. You're just seeing a blank screen VAR decision. And when you're watching it on telly, everybody's watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
So is that fair?
Well,
you know what I mean?
I mean, ultimately, it should always be the referee's last decision.
Yeah.
But it's not now, though.
No,
because referees make a decision, then they change it.
I see a penalty the other day. I think it was Paul Pogba against Aston Villa. And I've watched it 70 times. It's never a penalty in a month of Sundays. But VAR have given it. You know what I mean? I think to myself, like, in my opinion, it's not a penalty.
What about the handball yesterday?
Handball, what one?
Actually, can we go into that? We can't go into that, can we? I just realised.
No, you can't say it, can you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cut that.
No worries.
Yeah, but like, and you know, probably I shouldn't have mentioned the Paul Pogba one, but I think that was before. But yeah, all these things, you know, mess up the game. You know, it's a free throw game. I watch football now, and I don't care. I watch. You watch like the two top teams playing, Arsenal versus Man United back in the day. Patrick Vieira against Roy Keane. It was fantastic, smashing into each other and all that. Like now you can't touch each other, and I don't think it's the game.
But I find lately, I mean, I'm 29, so I've noticed lately a lot of people changing teams. I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of avid football fans that I've grown up with not watch football anymore due to a lot of these technical advances. So it's quite scary to think, you know, why are these fans so like they've had enough of it?
Do you know what? It's a great. Do you think if I was a kid now, I don't think I'd be as passionate about football as I am now. You know what I mean? I certainly wouldn't be an Arsenal fan if I was a kid growing up now. No, I wouldn't be.
Okay.
I wouldn't be because like it wasn't about. You know, when I started watching Arsenal, it was like 70s, mid 70s. Well, Arsenal weren't great, but it was something about it. Do you know what I mean? Like now I watch it and I think it's, you know, it's a different animal. It's a different game. You know what I mean? Like now, for instance, Man United I quite liked Man United back in the day. You know what I mean? Growing up as a kid, like Stuart Pearson, I've had fortunate to meet him a little while back, like, you know, and you like Man United, you know, because they was this big team, but they weren't on telly and all that, like, you know. Liverpool were the team. Oh my God, what a great team they were. You didn't like them because they was a great team, but now you watch it, you know, like for instance, the World Cup come along, a great thing like '82, you know, you never see these Zicos and Maradonas. You only see them when the World Cup come along.
Exactly,
You don't, you know, like, so you'd say for Messi and Ronaldo, you'd only see them every 4 years or every 2 years because of the European Championship were, you know, so you had, you know, now it's sort of like you're suffocated with it a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, because you can see Ronaldo playing for Juventus or.
But again, it's the technical advances. I think we've got too much.
It's too much. It's ruined the FA Cup.
Yeah.
It's ruined the FA Cup because it's on, you know, every game's on, isn't it? Where it wasn't like that back
because
in the day.
Again, everyone watching it at the same time.
Yeah.
Again, the pubs being open, the fans being at the football. I mean, what do you think about the fans not being at the football? Do you think that affects the players?
Scandalous.
Do you think it affects the players?
Yeah, I think it does. I think, of course, it does. Everybody again, I go back to egos. We like doing what you're doing like that. You know, I mean, it's great when you've got fans coming at you.
Yeah, but some of them don't, though, right? Some of them can't deal with the pressure.
Some of them, listen. If you become a professional footballer, you can handle pressure. To get to that environment,
I believe so.
To get to that environment, you've got to be so and so up along the way. You're up against youth team. When you play football, you've got to have, saying about, you've got to have this team spirit. You've got to be mates with me and you've got to be mates, like that, but you're in competition as well. But you still got to have that bond.
Yeah.
So to have that bond, to have all this and all that, you've got to have a strong
heart for what it is.
Yeah, personality and whatever. Because there are times, I can tell you this now, when people won't talk to you because they're scared of you losing, you losing your place. Great example of football is, and anybody who plays football can relate to this, is you're sitting in the dressing room, a new player comes in, and you walk in, you think, and you go out to him and you go, what position do you play? So he says, right back. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. If he said centre midfield player, you're fucking a little bit, no, come and take my place. You know what I mean? Yeah. But as soon as he turns around and he's not in your position, hello, mate, all right, and that's how football is. It can be it's a tough environment. So when they say, they're not used to it, they can't handle the pressure. They can, because to get to where they have at the very, very top, you've got to have gone through a lot to get there. Prior to get there.
And where you've done it yourself.
Yeah.
You know exactly what it takes and what it doesn't take, and they're not fluking it up there. Let's put it that way.
Listen, you can flag yourself on a building site. You can flag yourself.
Yes, you can.
You can flag
I've
yourself
done it many times.
Flag yourself at work. You cannot flag being a professional footballer.
Hell no.
First training session you go into, right? There's no, and I can guarantee it doesn't matter if you're in a non-league dressing room, an amateur dressing room, or a professional dressing room. Like, you know what I mean? You've got to win the respect of those players, and the one way the only way to get those respect of players is by doing the stuff on the field. Once they accept you as a player, whether it be Vets football or whatever, once they accept you as a player, then the personality and enjoyment can come with it. But you've got to be accepted as a player first and foremost. And I don't care if that's professional football or whatever. Okay. That is the way it is.
Well, listen, Lee, it's been an absolute pleasure.
No,
so, listen, before we wrap it up, is there anything you want to sort of say to the people? And we're so happy that you come today. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
All I'll say is one thing that I've been doing this now for a few years and all that, and the one thing that I don't like is people are not nice to each other on social media. Be a bit nicer to each other on social media.
Absolutely.
And so you can enjoy the platforms.
Yeah, like, just take a step back. Take things with a pinch of salt on social media.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I would never come up. If it weren't for social media, we wouldn't be doing this.
There you go.
And things like that. And I honestly think that social media could be such a great platform.
Yeah, definitely. To
meet people and whatever. So just be nice to each other out there.
Just be nice, people. Listen, it's Lee. And we're going to put all of his social media details, Arsenal Fan TV details.
Yep.
Where all of our description for this episode is. Josh, thank you again. Lee.
Been a pleasure.
It's been emotional.
Yeah.
and let's hope that Arsenal don't reach relegation.
No need of that.
All right, guys. Thank you.